So I am thinking for some reason of where everything came from, where the universe came from. You can start at a small scale, thinking where the Earth came from, where the Sun came from, and where the solar system came from, for example. But I'm thinking bigger than that, and I'm thinking where everything came from. The entire universe, every galaxy, every sun, even empty space, where that came from. And I've come to a conclusion of sorts that maybe we don't have a choice but to believe in God, an eternal entity with incredible powers that created everything. It's hard to conceive of an eternal entity to appreciate what that means, but I'm not sure that we have a choice but to believe in it because there's no real alternative. The idea that there was nothing, I mean, absolutely nothing, and I think absolutely nothing also means no empty space either, because empty space still, we still have a term for empty space. So if we can have a term for something, then it must have some form of existence, even if the thing you're describing doesn't exist. So somehow from nothing, things just appeared. The sun just appeared, the galaxies just appeared, the earth has just appeared, and air and water, and all of these things came into existence somehow. Now that's very difficult to accept, and I suppose that's the reason why belief in God came into being. Um, we kind of don't have too much in the way of choices. We either accept that things just appeared by themselves, or we believe in an everlasting entity which created everything. And it's hard to say which one is a better choice. Myself, I don't believe in God, but I'm coming to a conclusion now that possibly I have no choice. Well, I do have a choice, but it's a very uncomfortable choice. So I don't know how I can just come to terms with the idea that things just came into existence by themselves. It's such a crazy concept to consider, um, and it's deeply frustrating to never have an answer to something like that. We've learned so much over the years, and scientists in particular have brought us to such amazing understanding about how the universe works. But even the cleverest people on Earth can't have an answer to very basic questions like where did we come from? Why do things exist? Um, how can it be possible? So I'm thinking that I'm living now. I'm 46 or 47, and I've had a brain injury, so I'm very messed up in life, and I'm doing this to try and entertain myself and contribute to the world in some way, even if it isn't much of a contribution. But it is deeply frustrating that I'm living and I will die, never knowing the answer to such a fundamental question of where I came from and how can I exist? How is my environment created? So life is a mystery, and as I say, I'm living and I will die. So I've had a lot of experiences, um, but not an answer to a fundamental question of where I came from, how I could be possible, how it's possible that I exist. So I don't really know what I'm doing with my life now. I've had a brain injury some time ago, I don't know how long, possibly as much as a year, possibly more than a year. I'm in something called supported living at the moment, which is where my daily needs are taken care of and my accommodation. Um, I don't really do anything, I don't contribute to society anymore. I'm just a dependent. Um, and I'm thinking of ways to entertain myself because I am just existing. I'm just present, not doing anything useful for anybody. So I haven't worked out yet how I'm gonna survive, what I'm gonna do. I'm hoping that my condition will improve and my ability to walk, and I have no memory at the moment, so I'm hoping that that will develop and come back again, basically, because I don't really understand my past or understand currently what's going on. I'm just existing. I'm just here, living, not achieving anything. And I'm thinking that this is life now, and I have to find a way of handling it somehow. So making videos like this is one way I think I intend to go. I don't know if I can find things useful to say. Considering I don't have memory, it's hard to think of things to say that's useful. Um, I have very patchy ideas of my past and people that I know, but not proper information. It's like I have a contents page of a book without having the actual chapters and the information it contains. So I don't know if the damage to my brain will ever recover at all, or if this is my life now. And it is so crazy to be living like this. Um, I'm very worrying to live a life with no memory and partially disabled, but that's minor in comparison. To have no memory is so frustrating and so worrying, and I don't know if there can be an improvement. And there's nothing that anyone can do. Even brilliant doctors won't be able to do anything for me. So I'm spending my time just thinking how I'm going to survive. And one of the ways is to just think and think about things. And one of the things that's crossed my mind is where things came from, where the universe came from. And that's an insane thing to be thinking about. There can't really be an answer, ever. And the most brilliant people have thought about this and they haven't come up with anything worthwhile. But how stars and the planet and Earth itself and the moon, how it can just be, is just an insane idea to contemplate. And the incredible frustration to not ever have an answer for it can never be understood. It just has to be accepted. This is why obviously the belief in God is so strong. Because is there an alternative? I mean, God is as much a possibility as the universe just appearing by itself. And I don't think you can discount the idea of God, um, because it's not any less believable than the idea that the universe just came into existence by itself. It's so hard to accept either proposition, but I have to say that belief in God is as viable as belief in existence by itself. Um, so it seems to be, I think, those two choices. They came into existence by itself, or God did it. Myself, I have never believed in God, but I am considering it now because of my situation. I don't know if I said it already, but I've had a brain injury and I'm in recovery now. I'm in supported living where my daily needs are taken care of and my accommodation taken care of. The most difficult things in life are that I'm partially disabled due to my injury, and the most awful thing is I've lost my memory. I simply don't have a memory, and that's old stuff, and forming new memories as well has simply gone away. I have basic patchy information that's passed, the equivalent of a contents page of a book, but the chapters, the information is missing. So I have an index, if you like, but I don't have the things that are referred to. So my life is kind of empty. So I have a vague sense of my life, but no information. So I know, for example, that I have 2 children, but I don't know anything about them except their names. Likewise, I know I have a wife, or at least I had a wife. I think I'm divorced now, but I don't know anything about that. I used to run small businesses. I used to teach Taekwondo as well. And I don't know how my students would have reacted to the idea that the instructor just disappeared. Um, and I had business clients as well. You must be wondering where the support they're paying for has disappeared. Um, it is interesting to wonder how people reacted to my disappearance. I don't know how long I've been injured, so I don't know how much time has passed. But and I don't know how sudden things were as well. I don't know if they know what has happened to me or what. I don't know, if, for example, if people are looking for me, or if everyone being knows I've been injured and I'm just here. So at some point, I'm gonna have to start reaching out and seeing if I can contact people. I have a phone, for example, I'm doing this on my phone. And I have some contact details for people, and I have access to WhatsApp, and that's something. I don't currently have internet. It's been down. It's Christmas Day today as I'm doing this, and the internet is down for some reason, and I can't imagine anyone's working on it on Christmas Day. So hopefully it will come back soon, and I can get this material out on YouTube. It is a real struggle to find things that I should be doing in life. Um, I'm intending to do stuff on YouTube. Um, the problem is I don't have a memory, so I don't know if I can do anything too useful. But I've got a YouTube channel, and I still intend to do something. One thing I could do is refer back to or regenerate, if you like, material I put on YouTube in the past under the name Man, Woman, Myth. One word, Man, Woman, Myth. And that was a documentary series that I did on the treatment of men in society and comparing it with the treatment of women in society. And was highlighting some problems in how men are treated and considered in society. So I'm really glad that even though my original YouTube channel has disappeared and my website for it has disappeared, the materials still exist because some man out there made copies of the videos and was able to retrieve them. So I can republish under a new channel at some point. One thing that annoys me is I've watched some of the films, and what annoys me is my rhetorical discipline has been lacking sometimes. And so some of the things I've stated in the films could be taken to be offensive towards women and unacceptable. And so some of the films might be unacceptable, and it might lead to making the whole channel being unacceptable. And that's very frustrating because I think the documentary is good and covers a lot of ground. And it's annoying that I've made some missteps that might negate the whole enterprise. So I'm hoping that I can republish and stay up because I want to be spreading the information. I think there have been a lot of views, but not as much as I would like. But I'm so proud of myself for having made the documentary, and it's something to have done in life to contribute to the world, basically. I feel like I'm broken as a person now, and all I can do is take from the world rather than give anything back to the world. And so I'm glad to have done this in the past to contribute it to the world. I'm also glad, for example, that I was a taekwondo instructor, martial arts instructor, and I taught many people, adults and also specific classes for children, and I called the children's classes Tiny Taekwondo, and I thought that was quite a cool name, and it ran very well, and I'm proud of myself for having done that. Because I am looking at my life from what it is now and trying to draw some comfort from my situation. So my situation is that I'm physically damaged. I can only walk with a stick now, but that's an improvement from walking with a quad pod, which is a stick with 4 feet, and then before that a wheelchair. So I have made progress, even though it's frustrating to still be damaged like this. So, and my memory loss is a major problem as well. And I don't know if there's any improvement in that. There might be some, but it's very limited. And so I simply don't know who I am, basically. I know I was married. I think I'm divorced now, but I was married. I know I have 2 children. And I used to run small businesses, teaching taekwondo and IT to support business, consultancy. And well, obviously that's all finished now. So I really don't know what my life is. I'm just in supported living. And day to day is very repetitive, very much the same. I don't remember, so it doesn't feel repetitive, but I know that nothing is really happening. I'm just being kept alive, basically. So I am very worried about what life is now and how I'll progress. I don't know if it's possible to progress without a memory, to be honest, but I have to try because it's not as if I have a choice. One One thing I'm glad about is that I don't feel suicidal, but I have to consider that it might happen at some point. I might feel that way because it's hard to see how I can avoid it, to be honest. Without memory, life is kind of empty, and so kind of pointless, and so it is a worry for me. But I'm glad to not feel that way at the moment. I'm looking at ways to survive this situation. Hopefully, I can do video records like this to stay with the world, to keep record of what I'm doing in my life. So I intend to be on YouTube. I'm praying for my sense of taste to come back because that's probably the most frustrating thing in my life, to not taste food, because there's very little in life apart from food to make life enjoyable. I am thinking that life is basically YouTube, eating food that I can't taste, and praying for improvement. That's basically life. The family side has gone away. I don't know to what extent it will fix itself. You probably won't, I suppose. And it's hard to see a point to trying to see my children, for example, when I don't remember them as people anymore, and I don't know what I would offer them and how that could possibly work. I don't miss them because I don't remember them. I don't know them at all. So I'm struggling to understand what life is, and I'm really hopeful that I don't become suicidal. I don't know if I can achieve anything with no memory, but I do remember that I can use YouTube and try and do something on that. So I remember that much, I suppose. But things are very much a mystery at the moment, and I have to just hope for improvement in some way. And there aren't any answers. So, any questions? Like, for example, where the Earth came from, where the universe came from. It's just incomprehensible and very frustrating. So maybe there'll improvement, maybe there won't. I can't say, but I'm just hoping.